The crate is already open, and the officer staring into it hasn't moved in 10 seconds. He's seen thousands of shipments, electronics, pharmaceuticals, industrial parts. He knows what furniture fittings look like. He knows what they weigh. He knows how they sit in a box. This isn't that. Extreme close-up of curved, dense material wrapped in packaging. Slow reveal. Don't show what it is yet. 20 objects, carefully cut, meticulously wrapped, hidden inside a shipment that traveled thousands of miles through multiple countries, designed from the very beginning to never be found. The paperwork is perfect. The labels are clean. The route is logical. Everything about this shipment was built to be invisible. So how did it end up here, cracked open under fluorescent lights at one of the most surveilled airports on the planet? That's the question. And the answer changes everything you think you know about what's moving through the global economy right now. Changi Airport isn't just an airport. It's a machine. Every single day, millions of dollars in cargo move through its terminals. Electronics from Taiwan, pharmaceuticals from Germany, luxury goods from France, industrial materials from a dozen different countries. All of it arriving, being scanned, categorized, and dispatched in a system so finely tuned it processes thousands of individual shipments before most people finish their morning coffee. It has been rated one of the most advanced logistics hubs in the world multiple times, and that reputation isn't accidental. Changi runs high-resolution X-ray scanners, AI-assisted detection systems, officers with years of pattern recognition training, people who have seen so many shipments that anomalies register in their gut before they register on the screen. That infrastructure exists for a reason, because the same global network that moves legitimate goods, the same container ships, the same freight forwarders, the same airport cargo systems, also moves things that are never supposed to be there. And here's the number that should stop you cold. The illegal wildlife trade generates an estimated $23 billion per year. That makes it the fourth largest criminal enterprise on the planet, behind drugs, human trafficking, and counterfeit goods. Container ships, port infrastructure, a single shipping crate among thousands. It runs on the same infrastructure you use every time you order something online, and most of it never gets caught. Here's how a rhino horn moves from a game reserve in South Africa to a buyer in Southeast Asia. And I want you to understand this step by step, because when you see how it actually works, you'll realize why it almost always succeeds. Step 1. The poaching. Rhinos are killed, usually at night, often with high-powered rifles, sometimes with tranquilizers to keep the kill quiet. The horn is removed, the animal is left. The whole operation can take under 20 minutes. Archival footage of anti-poaching patrols, map of Southern Africa's rhino population zones. Step 2. The consolidation. Individual horns don't move immediately. They're collected, stored, aggregated by middlemen operating at the edges of the supply chain. People who never touch a rifle, never enter a reserve, but who function as the logistics layer of the entire operation. Step 3. The disguise. This is where it gets sophisticated. The horns are wrapped, packed alongside legitimate goods, furniture parts, industrial materials, anything with a plausible weight and density profile. A shipping label is created. Paperwork is forged or manipulated. In some cases, corrupt officials sign off on documents that make the entire shipment look completely legal. Shipping documents, cargo labels, boxes being sealed. Step 4. The routing. The shipment doesn't go direct. It moves through multiple countries. Each leg of the journey creates distance from the origin. Each border crossing adds legitimacy. By the time it reaches a major transit hub, a place like Changi, it has a paper trail that appears almost entirely clean. Think about what that means. You've created a shipment that looks right, weighs plausibly, has clean documentation, and arrived through a legitimate freight channel. It's designed to be one box among 10,000, and statistically, it should work. Thousands of shipments pass through Changi every day. Customs officers are good, but they are human, and they are outnumbered. The traffickers know this. They run the math. They know that if they move enough shipments, most of them get through. This is not desperation. This is a business model. And on this particular day, it should have worked again. The shipment is declared as furniture fittings. It enters the X-ray queue like everything else. X-ray scanner, conveyor belt, slow motion, the silhouette of a crate moving through. And then, on a screen somewhere in the terminal, an officer sees something that doesn't sit right. Furniture fittings have a specific visual signature: metal brackets, hinges, uniform shapes with predictable density gradients. The scanner has seen thousands of them. The officers have seen thousands of them. What appears on this screen is different. The shapes are curved, irregular, dense in a way that doesn't match the label. They taper at one end. They're arranged carefully, too carefully, in a way that maximizes space and minimizes gaps. To a trained eye, that arrangement isn't how you pack furniture fittings. That's how you pack something you're trying to hide. The shipment is flagged, pulled from the line. An inspection team assembles. This is the moment the entire operation, the poaching, the packing, the routing, the forged paperwork, every mile of that journey comes down to the next few minutes. The crate is opened. Layer by layer, the packaging comes off. And there they are, 20 rhino horns, weighing 35.7 kilograms, each one representing an animal that was killed specifically so it could end up in this box. Still image of the seized horns laid out, clinical, numbered, documented. One officer, one screen, one moment of instinct. That's the margin. The seizure triggers an immediate investigation. Authorities begin tracing the shipment backwards, through the freight forwarder, through the transit route, through the documentation chain. Every piece of paper becomes a thread to pull. And what they find is not a small-time smuggler who got lucky and moved 20 horns. What they find are the fingerprints of an organized network. Investigative map, routes, countries, connection lines. Operations like this one don't have a single mastermind sitting in a room. They're structured more like a franchise. Poachers on one end, middlemen in the middle, buyers at the other end. In between all of them, layers of logistics operators, document forgers, and corrupt officials, many of whom never meet each other and don't know the full picture.
That's deliberate. It's compartmentalization. If one layer gets caught, they can't expose what they don't know. Now, here's the layer most people don't consider. Rhino horn on the black market sells for anywhere between $60,000 and $100,000 per kilogram in high-demand markets. In some transactions, significantly more. The 35.7 kilograms seized at Changi, at conservative estimates, worth between $2 and $3 million in a single shipment. That's not contraband, that's a serious capital investment. And when the margins are that high, losing one shipment, even a multi-million-dollar one, is a calculated risk that the network can absorb and keep moving. Which means the question isn't whether this was a success. It was. The question is how many shipments exactly like this one didn't get flagged, didn't get pulled, made it through, and nobody has a clean answer to that. There are approximately 27,000 white rhinos left on Earth, around 6,000 black rhinos. Some subspecies are already gone, pushed into extinction within living memory. Aerial footage of African savanna, a single rhino, and the horn of a rhino, the thing people are killing animals and risking prison for, is made of keratin, the same protein as your fingernails. There is no verified medicinal property, no clinical evidence, no biological mechanism by which it does anything at all. The demand is built on a myth. But myths, when they're attached to status, in tradition, in wealth, don't respond to facts. They respond to scarcity. And scarcity, in this case, is being manufactured by the killing itself. Here's what this story is really about. It's not about one shipment at one airport. It's about the fact that the global trade infrastructure, the same systems that power legitimate commerce, that allow same-week delivery, that connect manufacturers to markets across 6 continents, has a shadow layer running inside it. And that shadow layer is almost perfectly camouflaged. Customs agencies around the world intercept a fraction of total illegal wildlife shipments. A fraction. Estimates suggest somewhere between 10 and 15% of illegal wildlife trafficking is ever detected. Which means for every seizure that makes the news, for every crate opened under fluorescent lights, there are roughly 6 to 9 that didn't get caught. Time-lapse of a major cargo port, the scale of it. The real scandal isn't that this shipment was caught. It's that the system was designed by the traffickers and arguably by global trade infrastructure itself for it not to be. Here's the detail I keep coming back to. The officer who flagged that shipment, he made a judgment call in seconds. Something on a screen that didn't look right. A shape that was curved when it should have been straight. A density that didn't match the label. 20 horns, potentially $3 million, years of planning across multiple countries. Stopped because one person trusted a feeling. Empty cargo terminal at night. A single conveyor belt, moving. Changi processes somewhere between 1.5 and 2 million tons of air cargo every year. So here's the question I want to leave you with. Not how did they catch this one, but what does it mean that catching it required luck? Because somewhere right now in a terminal exactly like this one, on a conveyor belt exactly like that one, there is another crate, another label, another animal, already dead, already cut, already wrapped, moving through the same system, and nobody on shift has noticed yet.
The question isn't whether wildlife trafficking is happening. It's whether we've built a world that's more efficient at hiding it than stopping it. Think about that the next time a package lands on your doorstep.